Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Kinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 4 चैप्टर 20 वर्स 22 अथावम अथावम रुच्या शुकला विलोकयन् अतृप्त दृग् गोचरम आह पूरुषम पदा स्पृशन्तं क्षितिम् अंश उन्नते विन्यस्तहस्ताग्रमुरंग vidvishaha. Supreme Person of Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. Maharaja Prithu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord, but it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus the king offered the following prayers. The significant point in this verse is that the Lord was standing above the ground, almost touching it. The residents of the upper planetary systems, beginning from Brahma Loka down to Swarga, are so advanced in spiritual life that when they come to visit this or similar other lower planetary systems, they keep their weightlessness. No, even Swarga, they're advanced in spiritual life. Prabhupada is writing, so we can understand what our fallen state is. This means that they can stand without touching the ground. Lord Vishnu is the supreme person of Godhead, but because he lives in one of the planetary systems within this universe, he sometimes plays as if one of the demigods of this universe. When he first appeared before Prthu Maharaj, he was not touching the ground of this earth. But when he was fully satisfied with the behavior and character of Maharaja Prthu, he immediately acted as the supreme person of Godhead Narayana from Vaikuntha. Out of affection for Prthu Maharaj, he touched the earth, but he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, as if to prevent himself from falling down, since the Lord is not accustomed to stand on earthly ground. These are all symptoms of his great affection for Prthu Maharaj. Perceiving his fortunate position, Prthu Maharaj could not fully look upon the Lord due to ecstasy, but still, in a faltering voice, he began to offer prayers. So beautiful. And this is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. Keep saying, Lord Vishnu appears. Every now and then, he appears to devotees. And we are so fallen, rotting here in this material world. Still mm, full of pride, having achieved nothing. But here, great devotees in Bhagavatam, they are seeing Vishnu, they are talking to Vishnu. Uh, and the Lord here so nicely is showing his love for this devotee. So, this is something that we should always remember. Uh, Krishna is always ready to show his love towards his devotee. And Maharaja Prithu, he went into ecstasy looking at the Lord. And so his eyes were full of tears. But he wiped his tears. He tried to look, but he was not satisfied at all. He was not fully satisfied. Just imagine, uh, the devotee is not fully satisfied by looking at the Lord, and he wants to see him all the time, more and more. So we should hanker for this position. One day, when that day will come, when we will be able to see the Supreme Lord eye to eye. And then hanker to continuously see him and thereby, you know, go with him and serve him in whatever way he wants us to. Mm. So beautiful reciprocation. That is why Krishna is called Bhakta Vatsala. So dear to his devotees. Of course, we have to become qualified to be his devotees. Mm. Yeah, yeah, Prabhu, you had something.
Yeah, bro, just wanted to one comment that Prabhupada is describing as if he was present there when Lord came. So basically, his realizations are exactly the ones where when the Lord comes and then how he interacts. I think this is very valuable.
Yeah, okay.
Only I think pure devotees only can give this kind of description. Otherwise, it's not possible.
Yeah, 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 okay. Prthuruvacha Varan vibhotvad varadesh buddha katham vrinite guna vikriyatmanam ye narakanam api santi dehinam tan isha kaivalya pate vrinena cha. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer benedictions. Why therefore should any learned person ask you for benedictions meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature? Such benedictions are available automatically even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, the best of demigods who can offer benedictions, but why should anybody ask for benedictions meant for living entities bewildered by modes of nature? Meaning material benedictions. Why should one ask for material benedictions? Such benedictions are available automatically, even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. Mm. And you can also give merging kaivalya, but I do not wish that also. There are different kinds of benedictions according to a person's demands. For karmis, the best benediction is promotion to the higher planetary system, where the duration of life is very long and the standard of living and happiness is very high. So both duration is also long, standard of living and happiness is also very high. There are others, namely Gnanis and Yogis, who want the benediction of merging into the existence of the Lord. It's called Kaivalya. Lord is therefore addressed as Kaivalyapati, master or Lord of the benediction known as Kaivalya. But devotees receive a different type of benediction from the Lord. Devotees are anxious neither for the heavenly planets nor for merging into the existence of Lord. And of course, they should not be anxious about material happiness. According to devotees, Kaivalya or merging into the existence of the Lord is considered as good as hell. Kaivalyam narakayate, Prabodhananda Saraswati says. Mm. The word naraka means hell. Similarly, everyone who exists in this material world is called naraka because this material existence itself is known as a hellish condition of life. Prthu Maharaj, however, expressed that he was interested neither in the benediction desired by karmis nor that desired by gnanis and yogis. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Prabhu, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, described that Kaivalya is no better than a hellish condition of life. And for the delights of the heavenly planets, they're factually will-o-wisps or phantasmagoria. They're not wanted by devotees. Devotees do not even care for the positions held by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, nor does a devotee desire to become equal with Lord Vishnu. The pure devotee of the Lord Prthu Maharaj made his position very clear. See, this is one another way by which we can actually understand the mood of different devotees by simply hearing their prayers. Mm. So Prthu Maharaj's mood is so clear. He's not asking for anything material, be it in this material world, be it on earth, be it in heaven, even up to uh, Sayuja, merging into Brahman. He is not wanting any of this. This itself shows that he is a pure devotee. So he is much, much exalted than Indra. Still, he showed his, you know, class position of a devotee by simply, um, giving up his envy or forgiving Indra for what he had done and just forgot all his envy. and just embraced him. And this is the greatness of a devotee. He's not, he's just above all this mundane, you know, pettiness. And he's saying, I'm not interested in any of this. न कामयेनाथ तदप्यहं क्वचिन्न यत्र युष्मच् चरणाम्बुजासवः महत्तमा महात्तमान्तर्हृदयान् मुखयुतो विधत्स्व करुणायुतं एष मे वरः. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence. A benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet means service. In merging into your existence, there is no nectar of service. I want the benediction of at least 1 million years. For thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. See, so beautiful. Yan mahat sevaya vipra punyatirthan nishevanat. Second chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto. So, one who wants to develop the urge, affinity to hear about the Lord, should serve the great devotees, Mahat Sevaya, Punya Tirtha, who are like Tirtha, and that affinity. Shushusho Shraddhadanasya, Vasudeva Katharuchihi, Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Shushusho Shraddhadanasya, Shraddhadana, one who is Shraddha, one who is sincere and is trying to hear. Vasudeva Katha Ruchihi. He gets the taste for Vasudeva Katha by Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra, by serving the lotus feet of pure devotees. Because this eagerness we should have to have millions of years to be able to hear about the glories of the Lord all the time from the mouths of pure devotees. In his previous words, Maharaja Prthu addressed the Lord as Kaivalyapati, master of liberation, merging into his existence. This does not mean that he was anxious for Kaivalya liberation. This is made clear in this verse. My dear Lord, I do not want such a benediction. Maharaja Prthu wanted to have 1 million years to hear the glories of the lotus feet of the Lord. He specifically mentioned that the glories of the Lord should emanate from the mouths of pure devotees who speak from the cores of their hearts, which is what Srila Prabhupada is doing and which is what Prabhu is recognized. So he's speaking from the core of his heart. That is why Prabhupada said, my purports are my devotional ecstasies. It is stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukhamukhad Amrita Drava Samyutam. Nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam became more relishable because it emanated from the mouth of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. One might think that these glories of the Lord can be heard from anywhere, from the mouths of either devotees or non-devotees. But here it is specifically mentioned that the glories of the Lord must emanate from the mouths of pure devotees. And of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, don't hear from Mayavadi. Oilo Sarvanash. Everything will be fully destroyed if we hear from non-devotees. And of course, also not from professionals reciters. Prabhupada says that. Srila Sanatana Goswami has strictly prohibited hearing from the mouth of a non-devotee. Vaishnava Mukhad, what is that word? Uta Harit Kathamritaha. What is that? Forget. Okay, there are many professional reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam who speak the narrations very ornamentally. But a pure devotee does not like to hear from them because such glorification of the Lord is simply a vibration of material sound. But when heard from the mouth of a pure devotee, glorification of the Lord is immediately effective. See, that is the reason why we have to read Prabhupada's purports. Because it is glorification of the Lord by a pure devotee and it will immediately have effect. The words Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido mean that glorification of the Lord is potent when uttered from the mouth of a pure devotee. Nice verse. Pavanti Hritkarna Rasayana Kata Tajoshanada Shvapavarga Vartmani Shraddha Rathir Bhaktir Anukramishati. The association of pure devotees, Satam Prasangat, Mama Virya Samvido. Lord is saying, discussion of the pastimes, activities. Mama, my wonderful activities. Discussion. Bhavanti, Hrit Karana Rasayana. Hrit and Karana, heart and ear. Rasayana, pleasing. Becomes very pleasing. Tat Joshanat. Ashu Apavarga Vartmani. And by cultivating such knowledge, one becomes advanced on the path of liberation. Apavarga Vartmani. And then Shraddha Ratir Bhakti Anukramishati. This attraction becomes fixed. Then it develops from faith. Rati, Asakti, Rati is attraction, and Bhakti. All will follow. So simply, we should remember this verse. Yeah, Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Hritkarna Katamrita Katha Bhavanti Hritkarna Rasayana Kataha. Rasayana Kataha Tajoshanat Ashwapavarga Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati. Beautiful verse. Glorification, Lord, is potent when uttered from the mouth of a pure devotee. The Lord has innumerable devotees all over the universe, and they have been glorifying the Lord since time immemorial and for an unlimited time. Like Shesha, is glorifying with thousands of mouths for eternity, and he's still not got to an end of it. Got to the end of it. But still, they cannot completely finish enumerating the glories of the Lord. This is just enumerating. Just imagine relishing. Enumerating itself is not getting over. Then how will relishing get over? Prthu Maharaj therefore wanted innumerable years, as Rupa Goswami also desired to have millions of years and millions of tongues to chant and hear the glorification of the Lord. In other words, if our ears are always engaged in hearing the glorification of the Lord, there will be no scope for hearing the Mayavada philosophy or for us nonsense, right, of this material world. We might, who has interest to hear Mayavad philosophy, but we are interested in the, useless things of this material world, which is doom, which is also doom to spiritual progress. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that if anyone hears from Mayavadi philosopher preaching about the activities of the Lord, even if it is a description from the Vedic literature, he is ultimately doomed. By hearing such Mayavada philosophy, one cannot come to destination of spiritual perfection. Yeah, also, yeah, but we should not be hearing, indulging ourselves in material stuff, material useless stuff, which actually, which dooms our spiritual progress. What should we do? Our ear should always be engaged in hearing the glorification of the Lord. Always. How always? Either we are chanting, or we are reading, or we are glorifying, or we are preaching, or we are distributing books, or we are cooking for Krishna. And when we are cooking, we are in the right consciousness. We are doing some service for Krishna in the right consciousness, during which also we can hear, so that our consciousness becomes much sharper in our service. And not talk prajalpa. Yeah, so we should hear from the mouths of pure devotees. So uttama shlokam hanmukhachuto bhavatpadambhoja sudha kanana nilaha smritim punar vismrutattvavartmanam kuyoginam no vitaratyalam varaihi. My dear Lord, you are glorified by selected verses uttered by great personalities. Uttama shloka, mahat, mukhachuta, delivered from the mouths of great devotees uh, by selected verses. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. Sudhakana, saffron particles, or here Prabhupada is saying is like particles of nectar. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. So, beautiful poetic way of describing the effect of hearing from pure devotees. Anilaha smritim puna vismruta tattva. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Hmm. Other benedictions are unnecessary. Alam Varaihi. But we should not hear from those who are not in the devotional line. Puyoginam. Puyoginam. So just see the power of hearing. That the other third canto words also is very powerful. So we have to remember our eternal relationship by hearing. We have to gradually remember. Actually, now also we forget that we are actually servants. We don't remember the basic relationship that we are servants. We're always in the mode of masters. Mm. Mm. So the day I keep, contemplating on this. How many times am I trying to act as master? How many times am I really situated in the position of a servant? Mm. A servant means humility. Mm. Servant of the Supreme Lord also means faith, trust, enthusiasm. All these, along with humility. How much, how much are we in this mood, in this mindset of being, thinking that we are servants? So we keep forgetting this eternal relationship with the Lord, being servant of the Lord. It is explained in the previous verse that one has to hear glorification of the Lord from the mouth of a pure devotee. It is further explained here. The transcendental vibration from the mouth of a pure devotee is so powerful that it can revive the living entity's memory of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. In our material existence, under the influence of illusory Maya, we have almost forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Exactly like a man sleeping very deeply who forgets his duties. In the Vedas, it is said that every one of us is sleeping under the influence of Maya. We must get up from this slumber and engage in the right service. For thus, we can properly utilize the facility of this human form of life. Jeev Jago, as expressed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Lord Chaitanya says, Jeev Jago. Lord asks every sleeping living entity to get up and engage in devotional service so that his mission in this human form of life may be fulfilled. So we also have to wake up and engage fully in devotional service. Wake up meaning stop sense gratification. Unfortunately, this is such a difficult task. But yes, constantly hearing from pure devotees can actually rectify our heart. This awakening voice comes through the mouth of a pure devotee. Awakening. We have to wake up. Jeev Jago. Gora Chandra Bole. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet. And therefore, he has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. Although when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. So his words touch the lotus feet of the Lord, meaning it is in the service of the Lord. That's what this means. It touches the particles of dust, saffron dust. As soon as a sleeping living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord, although up until that moment he had forgotten everything. How Srila Prabhupada, he made so many, impossible, like hopeless cases to devotees. Just imagine, I mean, going and preaching in the West and in the rest of the world outside India is even today is so difficult. Even after ISKCON having been established, now we see what is going on in Bangladesh. So unfortunate. And Prabhupada, by his potency, he just enabled so many devotees to become instrumental just through his powerful money. That's why I said, distribute books. Brihad Bridanga, distribute books. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire, speculative knowledge, or contamination of modes of material nature. For a conditioned soul, one has to hear from a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord. pure devotee. One of us is kuyogi because we have engaged in the service of this material world. See, forgetting our eternal relationship with the Lord as his eternal loving servants. So we are all kuyogis. Mm. We're all engaged in our own service. Mm. It is our duty to rise from the Yoga platform to become Suyogis, perfect mystics. The process of hearing from a pure devotee is recommended in all Vedic scriptures, especially by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may stay in his position, it does not matter what it is, but if one hears from the mouth of a pure devotee, he gradually comes to the understanding of his relationship with the Lord and thus engages in his loving service. See, this Thane Sthita, we should understand. The idea is Thane Sthita, wherever, in whatever position, we should start hearing. We should start hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee. Then what happens? Automatically, our position has to change, meaning our mental, our view about this world, etc., etc. Why? Because gradually comes to the understanding of relationship with the Lord. And everything has to change. Why? Because if one has to engage in loving service, he cannot be engaged in if one has to engage in loving service of the Lord, one cannot remain engaged in loving service of himself, of aham and mama. Hmm. So change has to happen. One has to undergo change, drastic transformation. This is. It can't be any other way because life has to become completely perfect. So we should not misunderstand this, saying that, oh, in your own position do bhakti. You in your own position start bhakti, start hearing. That there is no hindrance, there is no preventive. Nobody is actually encouraged, saying that in whatever position we are in, we should start hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee. And then what happens? Life has to change. We have to transform ourselves completely from a conditioned state to completely perfect state. This is our journey. Therefore, this process of hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee is very important for making progress in the line of spiritual understanding. Mm. Again, same thing. Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Actually, I was just thinking, we focus so much on Vyakti Bhagavata Sevaya, but that actually we are not realizing that we understand the power of Vyakti Bhagavata Sevaya. That, yeah, serving Vaishnava, serving Guru, we understand that. But we are not giving same importance to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya because they are both are not different. Uh, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, we will remain in touch with Krishna. Mm, mm, yeah. यश शिवं शुश्रव आर्यसङ्गमे यदृच्छया चोप शृणोति ते सकृत् कथं गुणग्नो विरमेद् विना पशुं श्रीर्यत् प्रवव्रे गुणसङ्ग्रहेच्छया. My dear highly glorified Lord. Highly glorified Lord. Where is this? Sushravaha. Sushravaha. Mm. If one in the association of pure devotees hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees. Look at this. How powerful. For no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave their association. Hmm. If one in the association of pure devotees hear even once the glories of the Lord, unless he is an animal, he doesn't give up the association of devotees. For no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave their association. See, please note. We should be careless not to be in the association of devotees. Many times, devotees, practicing devotees, take career decisions, etc., which actually moves them away from Krishna, from Krishna's devotees. That shows that very, very careless about our spiritual life. We should not be careless about our spiritual life. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yathavati bhaktiradokshate. Uh, The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune. who desire to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories. The association of devotees, Arya Sangama, is the most important factor in this world. The word Arya refers to those who are advancing spiritually, not advanced, advancing, Prabhupada is writing. So, not just of advanced spiritually devotees, even of advancing spiritually devotees, one has to associate. Because we may not be able to get the opportunity to associate with advanced devotees all the time. In the history of the human race, the Aryan family is considered to be the most elevated community in the world because it adopts the Vedic civilization. The Aryan family is distributed all over the world and is known as Indo-Aryan. In prehistoric days, all of the members of the Aryan family followed the Vedic principles and therefore they became spiritually advanced. The kings known as Rajarshis were so perfectly educated as Kshatriyas or protectors of the citizens and so greatly advanced in spiritual life that there was not a bit of trouble for the citizens. The glorification of the Supreme Lord can be very much appreciated by the Aryan family. Although there is no bar for others, the members of the Aryan family very quickly catch the essence of spiritual life. How is it that we are finding it very easy to spread Krishna consciousness among the Europeans and Americans? History reports that Americans and Europeans proved their ability when they were anxious to expand colonization. But at the present time, being contaminated by the advancement of material science, their sons and grandsons are turning into reprobates. This is due to their having lost their original spiritual culture, which is Vedic civilization. Presently, these descendants of the Aryan family are taking this Krishna consciousness movement very seriously. Because everybody were all Aryans only previously. Others who are associating with them and hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the lips of pure devotees are also becoming captivated by the transcendental vibration. It's so powerful. These devotees, they went to different parts of the world and just by doing Harinam, they made devotees, they created centers, so many things. Transcendental vibrations are very much effective when chanted among Aryans. But even though one does not belong to the Aryan family, he will become a Vaishnava simply by hearing the mantra because the vibration has great influence over everyone. Kirtan. And Kirtan. Maharaja Prthu points out that even the goddess of fortune, who is the constant companion of Lord Narayana, specifically wanted to hear about the Lord's glories. And for the association of the gopis, who are pure devotees, the goddess of fortune underwent severe austerities. The impersonalists may ask why one should bother chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra continuously for so many years instead of stopping and trying for Kaivalya. The answer, Maharaja Prthu maintains that the attraction of this chanting is so great that one cannot give up the process unless he is an animal. This is the case even if one comes in contact with this transcendental vibration by chance. Prthu Maharaj is very emphatic in this connection. Only an animal can give up the practice of chanting Hare Krishna. Only an animal can give up association of devotees. Those are not animals, but actually intelligent, advanced, human, civilized men. Please see the adjectives here. Intelligent, advanced, human, and civilized. Cannot give up this practice of continually chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, let's stop here. Questions, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Just wanted to recite on Shlokavachyartadin. Avaishnava Mahokirnam Putam Harikatamritam Shavanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpochishtam Yatapayah.
Sarpochistam yatopaya. Yeah, thank you.
Just by like a milk touched by the mouth of a snake.
Yeah.
When we
Okay.
hear from Avaishnava. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Sumantra Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Yes,
I'm
Mataji.
a little confused. There was a line which came on, like benedictions are got even in the higher planets and lower planets. The Karambhumi is the earth where the human beings do karma and like enjoy, either go up or either go down. Okay, Indra is also cursed there. You can understand, the Lord is present everywhere, but of the earthly planet is more favorable for. I have to, like, only very few people think of Krishna and go back to Goloka. On the earthly favorable. Down
Your voice
planet,
is breaking. I don't know if it's my internet.
what sort of a benefit do you get there? And like, I mean,
Yes, it's breaking
Are
up for me
they
as well, Prabhu.
Is breaking up Mataji's voice?
like what
Yes,
benediction?
Prabhu.
Mataji, I'm not able to follow clearly.
Sorry.
Your
Yeah, like
voice is breaking.
say like they say that the benedictions are got anywhere. Like you can get benedictions anywhere, right, Prabhu?
Okay.
Ah,
Mhm.
so like on earth, like we say, earth is favorable for spiritual realization, and especially a human being.
Mhm.
So Prabhu, on the above planets, we go there to because we've done good karma and all that, and the lower planets we go because we've done sinful activities. So over there in the lower planets, how do we get benedictions, Prabhu? Like
Oh yeah, okay.
and see, in the upper planets you're cursed, and even in the upper planets there are very 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 few chances of going back to Krishna consciousness, got back to Goloka.
Okay, not really. So two things here.
Because
One is
there was a sentence with Prthu Maharaj.
yeah, that's only Swarga.
So,
That's
hello.
Swarga.
Yes,
See,
Prabhu.
the above Swarga, there are higher planets where there is possibility of spiritual progress. Because there is not focus is not sense gratification above Swarga Loka. Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. The focus is more spiritual, but it could be even Brahman, for example, right? But it's spiritual. It's not so much material. Swarga only is material.
Yeah. Yes.
Now below is called Bilaswarga. Right, going down also the
It's
benedictions
called
are Bilaswarga.
yes.
Bilaswarga means Swarga in a whole.
Ah,
Right, so there also it is actually the sense gratification, life for sense gratification is greater than in Urdhva Swarga. It said in Bilaswarga. But the only problem is there's no light, right? So it's low class from that perspective. But sense gratification standards are very high, even in lower planetary systems. So benedictions
yes.
means material benedictions everywhere. Everybody is getting according to the jiva's desire. See, benedictions materially is not, there is no standard for it, right? It just depends on what the jiva wants. So jiva wanted to go and enjoy high class sense gratification in lower planets. He got it. He got the benediction. He's enjoying. Right? So benediction meaning what? Lord's benediction, Lord's benediction is also available
Yes,
anywhere.
Prabhu, as I said, benediction here means like whether he's enjoying or he's. Your voice is breaking, Prabhu. Hello.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, I think some issue with the internet. Yeah, so benediction in general, benediction in the material world is material.
Who?
Mataji, I think there's some issue with your
Yes. No, I
internet.
think yes, Prabhu. Can the answer be given tomorrow, Prabhu? Because I'm not
Yeah.
able to hear you at all.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Discuss
I'm
tomorrow.
sorry, Prabhuji.
No problem.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam to everybody.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Okay. We'll close here. Even Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhishta Kripa Sindhu Jagati Dhanam Bhavanebhyo Vishnavebhyo Namo Namo Koti Vaishnavanti ki jai. Namaita Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare